video is going to be about how to configure quality of service on an Untangle firewall. So I'm already logged into an Untangle firewall here, so let me just get you familiar with where I am at. From the dashboard view here, if we go back to the dashboard, I just clicked on sessions. The reason that I did that is because we want to find out where the VoIP traffic in the network is going in terms of a place on the internet, and then also how it's getting back to us once it leaves. So I have kind of structured a search here. You want to narrow down one thing that you're searching on because it's just a lot easier to look at. So in this case, I'm searching only my iPhone traffic. I've also sorted it by UDP at the top here just to look at things in the easiest way possible. So the thing that we're going to look for is a high number port. You see I've got a port 5060 here. That's the SIP packet that does the call control and the setup. This port right here, 24022, is actually the RTP stream. And so that's really what we want to traffic shape. We want to traffic shape both the SIP call control packets that are UDP and also mostly the RTP streams because that's my voice transmitted back and forth. So this IP address right here, starting in 216, is the one that we want to traffic shape against. So I'm going to copy that to my clipboard so that I can use it other places. So now what to do to set up this is we want to go back to the config, and we're going to go to network. Now all traffic that we want to shape with quality of service needs to be bypassed first in the Untangle. So if it's not bypassed, we won't be able to apply QoS rules to it. So we need to write some bypass rules here. That's up at the top, right here on this tab. And you can see that I actually have already written some rules here, but let's take a look at these rules in case you're setting them up for the first time. So I just gave it a description here. Again, you see that IP starting with 216. Let's take a quick look at this rule just to get familiar with how it works. So this says if my destination address is this IP, then bypass it. The next rule down is going to show the exact same thing, except the IP address is going to be the source. So that's both to and from that IP. Those are both bypassed. So you're going to want to get those rules in there. Anytime you make changes to rules, don't forget to hit save down at the bottom. All right, now we're going to actually do the QoS setup. So that's going to be over here in the advanced setting, advanced tab. And then we're going to click on QoS right here. You can see we already have it turned on this router. If you had never done it before, it wouldn't be enabled, so you'd click that checkbox to enable. You can leave this queue discipline as the normal one. The default priority being medium is fine. We only want to traffic shape very important traffic, typically VoIP or video or something of that nature. These areas right here, you're going to have to set your upload and download speeds. QoS is pretty ineffective if it doesn't know what your maximum upload and download speeds are. So you're going to need to edit those, and you'll just type in here. Now this is in kilobits per second, and it will do a little conversion there if we pull this out a little bit to show you that it is going to give you a more human readable value here once we enter that. 500 up, 500 down here on our fiber connection at IT Partners. Very nice. But we still want to make sure that we apply QoS because if someone goes crazy with some big time downloading, there's still a chance that the traffic can become in competition on the network. We want to prioritize voice. So that's our WAN bandwidth. Let's go to our rules here. Let's say I just have a couple of rules in here. So let's go ahead and add a rule that's specific to that IP address that I had showed earlier. So I'm going to hit add, and I'm going to say prioritize sky switch traffic. And we're going to add a condition. The destination address being this IP that was on my clipboard. And we're going to give it a priority of very high. Put an extra space in here or something. There we go. And then I'm going to click done. It adds it to the bottom of my list. Now, I really would want to prioritize that traffic in both directions. So let's add a source address, meaning if it originates from SkySwitch, we also want to prioritize it in very high. Click done there. Again, anytime I have stuff in green here, it means I have unsaved changes, so I'm going to save those changes. You'll notice while that's saving here, custom rules only match bypass traffic. That's why we went and wrote bypass rules first before we came here and wrote QoS rules. To make sure that our traffic is bypassed, because if we do all the work in this tab but don't bypass the traffic, basically it's useless. It doesn't actually work because the traffic needs to be bypassed. Bypassing on Untangle just means that it bypasses all the security checks and services that may slow it down in entering and exiting the network. We trust this VoIP traffic, especially from our SIP provider, so we don't need to scan it for viruses or all the like. All right, so this is all set now. So we have turned on QoS. Right there, checkbox. We have set some rules. We don't really need to adjust these priorities out of the box. They're very good. I wouldn't suggest messing with that. We have set our WAN bandwidth appropriately here, and we've hit save. Don't forget to hit save. That's a very important step in this process, and you'll kick yourself if you do all this work. Don't hit save and then have to come back and do it all over again. So let's go back to our sessions here. I want to show you one way to tell whether or not this is working. So let's see if we've gotten, we have me generate some traffic here real quick. I'm going to make a call using my iPhone and using my my ReachUC app. Let's just generate a little bit of traffic here. Let's see what we got here. There we go. All right, let me end this call. So this guy right here, you'll notice, you'll remember that IP address. Look at this port number. What we're going to look at here is if we scroll down a little bit, bandwidth control priority, very high, and then QoS priority, very high. So traffic shaping, quality of service, is in effect against this traffic. Now we have a lot of bandwidth here, and it's not a terribly busy network at the moment, so I don't necessarily need to apply QoS to this traffic. But if it becomes in competition, and that's really where QoS kicks in, if there becomes a constraint on bandwidth, this traffic will be prioritized over other traffic such as downloads, streaming, email, those kinds of things. So this is what keeps our voice quality working well on a network where there's a lot of things going on. So that's a little bit about how to configure QoS on an Untangle router. Hope you enjoyed it.